Let us have a look at how we install Prodigal using Conda. And we have actually used Prodigal already, so we don't really need this, but we do it as an example. So first of all, we need to have a channel from which we can download the software. And we saw up here this is sort of the template, right, for creating an environment and installing a package inside it, a software inside it. And we need to have something here, channel, right? This is the sort of the repository or database where we download the software from. So let's go and have a look at one of these channels, namely the Bioconda. And Bioconda is a collection of software used in biology, right? So if you wonder if Prodigal is found here in Bioconda, just type the name of the software and search. And indeed, we find several hits, but it's the second one here, which is the one we are interested in, Prodigal, right? Because the other ones were not, they contained Prodigal in their names, but it was not really Prodigal. So we can see different versions and so on available here. The text here explains how to install it, but it uses Mamba instead of Conda, but it works almost the same way. Mamba is an alternative, you could say. So, okay, Prodigal is found here at Bioconda. So let's go back and see if we can install this now. Then we have to first load Miniconda 3. That's something we always have to do when working with Conda on Orion. Module Miniconda 3 with capital M. So now Conda should be a command that is recognized. Yes. So now we can start using Conda. And then we can see the template here, how to write this. Conda, create, and then the channel. And we now know that Bioconda is a channel that contains what we want to download. Then the name of the environment, double minus name. And here comes now the name of the environment. And we were told to call this gene finders. And I mean, in most cases, you would call this Prodigal now because Prodigal is a software we are going to download. But I use a different name here just to highlight that the name of the environment is not the same as the name of the software. Because now at the end here, we list now the package or the software to install. So now we will install this software into this environment. And in principle, we could have multiple softwares installed into this environment. As long as these softwares are not conflicting in terms of their dependencies, that's perfectly fine. So we can have other gene finder softwares inside this same environment. But the main reason for having a different name here is just to highlight this is not the same as the name of the software. Let's run this now and see how it works. Yeah, this looks promising. Collecting package metadata. Yeah, this can take some time, but it didn't take much time here because it says now, here comes now a list of software. We can see that Prodigal is at the end here, but we can also see that in order to install Prodigal, you need to install some other dependencies, right? And these are listed here. And now you are asked, do you want to proceed? Is this what you're actually looking for? Yes or no? And we answer yes, and then the download and installation starts. And this took almost no time. But this can sometimes take a long time, right? Installing all the dependencies, this can take hours sometimes. And with respect to this Mamba we saw, the Mamba is working much faster. So if this takes a long time to download, you should perhaps consider using Mamba instead of Conda. Yeah, but for now, this was fine. So let me scroll down here. After completed installation, inspect the folder .conda./envis. Yeah, what is this? I'm now in my home folder. If I list the content of it, we will see there is now a hidden folder called .conda. Since it starts with a dot, it's hidden. If you just ls, you will not see it. You need to have the -l. No, you need to have the -a option to see also the hidden files and folders. So let's step down into this folder, .conda. And then we can run a similar LSA here to see that there's also here some folders, and this was the one we were asked to look into. And here we can now see that there is a folder called Gene Finders. So all environments we create will now end up as subfolders here under this envis, .conda/envis. And the name of the environment is the name of the folder. And inside this one again, we can actually look at the content. It will contain some subfolders and blah, blah, blah. And we rarely go down and look into this. Just verify that it's there. Okay, let me go back to my home folder. Yeah. Next, we need to activate the new environment by conda activate and then the name of the environment. Let's try to do that. Conda activate Gene Finders. And this results in a command not found error. It says your shell has not been properly configured to use conda activate. Okay. And then it says something here that we could do, but we have a solution to this problem. And that's the one you see here. This is the exact command you have to execute before you try to activate any environment. And notice when I run this now, notice how base showed up now before the print. And this is the conda base environment. So now we are ready to activate any other environment. Gene Finders. Yeah. And now you can see it changed from base to Gene Finders here. So now we are in the Gene Finders environment. And this line of code, each time you log in, you start a new shell. Each time you log in, you have to run this code before you start using conda activate. For that reason, it could be an alternative to put this into your .bashrc file. Remember, in an earlier module, we edited that file. That's when we made this alias so that we can use this SQ to list the queue, or the LSA, which is not really a Unix command. It's a short form ls-al. So look at that in an earlier module where we edited this bashrc file. And if you want, you can now go open it again and paste in this exact line of code after the other aliases you added, so that each time you log in, this one will automatically be executed, right? And you are ready to start using conda immediately without any further notice, you could say. But for me now, I don't do that because I don't use conda very often. So well, I would probably do it, but I don't want to spend the time right here, right now doing it. So we activated the gene file. Yeah, and now we can run Prodigal. Now we can run Prodigal, right? Without any apptainer statement. We can just run it directly here now from the command line like this. Without any apptainer, exec, and the name of a container file that we saw before. So now, as long as this environment is active, we see it here that it's still active, right? All the software that is installed in this environment is now available to us. And we can run it and do whatever. And once we are happy, we just deactivate the environment like this. And we are back to the base environment again, you can see. And now you are back where you started, you could say. So this is how we install and use software with Conda.